is the goal for you to be able to produce fighters? Is the goal to be able to teach people martial arts? I mean, tell me a little bit about.
Well, I think the ultimate goal was it's a self-defense system, right? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I am a professional in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, love Jiu-Jitsu. There's just some people that aren't going to do it. They don't want to do it. They don't think they're ever going to be there. They think that they'll kick someone and get away. It's like, okay, well, if they're really big and they have an idea of what they're doing, they're probably going to hold you down. So learning jiu-jitsu to me was extremely important. My thing though, my cat's meow, was kicking people. And I like doing that because before we entangle and we start grappling, there's that gap, right? So that gap is where striking
every
can either
fight
get
starts
you
on
in
the
or,
feet.
yeah, every confrontation, everything is going to probably 95% of the time start on your feet. So it's like, how do we close that gap or use our footwork to try to evade someone? And the idea was, if we're not gonna, we can't leave. I'm stuck, and the person who wants to do whatever to me is standing in front of the door. All right, we're gonna have to fight to get out. The idea was like, you have to know your stance, you have to know how to move your feet, you have to know they throw, what can I do to counter it and defend myself? So that was the premise of it. I kind of was creating it with the mind of like, hey, if my kids went to a gym and I wasn't there, and they're like, oh, this guy's dad fights, like, he thinks he's tough, so throw him in there with everybody. What would they need to know? So it was like, hey, how can I get out of the way? How can I, right? And then we call them measurables. We implement that all through the class. So by the end of class, you've probably done 100 push-ups, 100 squats. They do neck exercise in the end and a lot of core. So that way we're developing combat athletes that are going to be strong, right? So you're only as strong as your weakest link. The idea is they get strong core, strong neck. They keep progressing. They're understanding it. And it's contact, but it's not open sparring. It's more like, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. I'm going to watch you do it and then try to help you critique your movements, and then we switch partners. So it's kind of how you view, back in the day, like I did Senpai Kempo karate when I was a kid, when I was like 9. And it was really structured. I enjoyed doing it. I really liked the sparring part of it. That part I kind of would get in trouble because they're like, hey, you're being too aggressive. I was like, oh, sorry.
They're not being aggressive enough.
Yeah. So just the structure, right? It's a journey. When you get to this and you've been doing this long enough, martial arts is a journey. And I realized that. You asked me 20 years ago, I would have said, I'm a fighter. And now I'm like, hey, dude, I'm a martial artist. That's what got me here. That's what keeps me in the gym. Makes it fun, feeds my family. And it's something you'll do this till the day you die, right? If it's done right, you get a bad coach, it can be a really horrible experience. And then the last thing you want to do is go to a gym or like, oh, no thanks. So it was the idea of how do we make this grow and get people to have a good experience, understand how to defend themselves. Law enforcement is a big piece of this too, and it's like everyone there, right? You sign up to do that, you're signing up to fight people, essentially.
Basically.
Yeah, so.
To deal with angry people every day.
Yeah, how are you
going
to be able to control someone, especially, I've done a bunch of them with law enforcement, and like there's women that are in there teaching these classes that didn't have any formal experience, and I was like, all right, what is this lady going to pick up in this next 2 hours that I could show her is going to be important? So it's like, yeah, we could do all kinds of cool stuff, but like, what's the fundamental stuff of someone? She has to go hands-on. So to me, it was developing that and then watching it through the students go, okay, this works. I'll give you an example. We had knees, right? We're throwing knees in part of one of the curriculum. And a guy came in who was a guest who trained before, and it wasn't in my curriculum where it was, we just throw the knee. This guy was going and clinching the head, and every time I'd say, all right, throw the knee. So I was having him switch partners, and he kept doing it. And it wasn't that he was doing it wrong. It was that he knew that little side clinch, half clinch. And I was like, okay, and I go, time out, hold on, guys. I haven't shown this, but I want to show you. So I had to clean that up right there with the guy in the class. He wasn't even a member, but I was like, okay, if that's a hole in this thing right now, it slowly will fall apart. So that was kind of nice to be able to use this as the testing ground as we were developing it to go, all right, cool. I'm glad that person came in. I'm glad they did it. And so now, like when I teach them, I'm like, there's 2 ways of doing this. I'm shooting a knee out like a punch, or they go to grab you. I'm going to have to frame off. So being behind the scenes and actually making sure like developing and creating it is actually going to be the stuff that works. Yeah. It's been really fun.
It's like an iterative process. Like you're implementing it, seeing it in real time, making tweaks as you needed, like that type of thing.
But I think that how interesting it is, like just that one little move can influence the rest of the curriculum.
Yeah.
Just changing that is interesting.